Ken's going to talk to us about not buying DevOps.
Well, kind of, anyway. Sure. So, I've been coming to conferences like this for a long time, and it's funny because you come and you get all these great ideas, you want to go try them, you want to go do the no-ops or whatever, and you go back to your organization, and there's somebody else that has something to do with that says, yeah, I don't want to do that. And so, have fun. And like when it comes to DevOps particularly, I'm a real strong believer in self-organizing teams. You build it, you run it. Well, if the people who run it don't agree, now you're kind of in trouble. I also work for a tool vendor, and you cannot buy DevOps. You can't. But I'm saying you probably need to sell it inside your organization. You need to convince other people. One of the biggest challenges is that they've heard this all before. So this is an actual Wikipedia thing of process improvement in software. So, we got RUP, and we got Scrum, and we got Kanban, and we got everything else. I think when it comes down to it, people really only do major change for two reasons. It's the carrot and the stick. If I do this, these really good things are going to happen. If I do that, I'm going to avoid these really bad things, et cetera. There's all kinds of middle ground, but that's really what it comes down to. So some ammunition for driving change in your organization. So from the good side, State of DevOps report. All kinds of stuff in here. Dr. Nicole Forsgren's here somewhere that did the crazy math on it and so forth, where they went out and surveyed thousands and thousands of people and figured out that the people that do this well actually exceed in things you might not expect. Their financial goals. They do better on the stock market. They meet their revenue, et cetera. There are people in your organization that care about that, and this kind of data will help you there. On the stick side, you will have security issues, period. We talked about OpenSSL 3 times a month. That's, yeah. They will be there. How fast can you respond, et cetera. So there's people inside your organization that you say, hey, if we can automate these things, we can respond faster to these things. One example I like here is these guys were trying to do the right thing. There's a company called Knight Capital. They used a thing called feature flags, and they did their new release, and they installed it to 7 servers. The only problem was they had 8. They turned it on. The 8th one started trading a bunch of things, and they lost $440 million in 45 minutes. Amazon is really, really, really good at this stuff. S3 went down for 4 hours last February, but if you went to the status page, the lights was still green because the red icon was served from S3. Now, here's the problem. All these facts are kind of cool, but people don't actually change because of logic. People change for emotional reasons, okay? So you have to have the ammunition, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to do it because there's lots of bad ideas that still get implemented. Things are done for emotional reasons. We are emotional beings. We do this thing because we want the boat, because the boat gets us the thing, et cetera. And so you have to kind of think that way when you're trying to drive change. Also, top-down change doesn't work. So years ago, I was an Agile coach, I admit it. And you could get people, and we're going to do Agile, and now we're going to stand up instead of sit down for our meetings, and woo, we're Agile. Okay, so you'd get compliance, but not commitment. Okay, so here's a book I highly recommend. If you need to do this in your organization, or of the 2 authors, Dr. Rising does a ton of public speaking that you can find on YouTube and so forth on how to use patterns. We're geeks, we love patterns. So I picked out a few for this talk. So first off, tailor your message. Your CFO does not care how many times a day you can deploy. Guaranteed. Okay, it's what's the financial impact going to be, what's the safety, et cetera. So when you're talking to different things, think about what's important to them. Things like lunch and learns work, but don't just throw them out there. Don't just buy pizza and say, hey, come, let's go do DevOps. Have an agenda. Have the things you want to get. Have what you're going to learn. Have how you're going to share, et cetera. By the way, they actually studied it, and chocolate chip cookies are the best. They actually did. That was the best. Okay. When it comes to the materials I talked about, you can leave hints around. Print out State of DevOps report and leave it around. Take your favorite tool and leave stickers around, et cetera. It gets people curious. And yes, I'm doing psychological trickery now, but it gets people curious. Find the innovators inside your organization. Pick the person that's going to be in line for the iPhone 8. And say, hey, come do the DevOps with me. Get them excited. They want to try the latest thing, et cetera. Keep in mind, it's a short term. They'll be on to the next shiny thing, but it's a way to get other people on board. When it comes to those people, ask for help. Hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? Is incredibly powerful. And by the way, say thank you. A heartfelt, hey, you said this, so it did this for me. Thank you is way better than a Starbucks gift card. The only valid use of the term DevOps team. Go ahead and set up mentors. Set up people that, you get these things going, you start going. Have them then go out and mentor the other teams. Okay, so very high level in 5 minutes. There's a 40-minute version if you care. The slides will be there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.